Hello world, and welcome back to another episode of the vlog series which crisscrosses Shanghai in search of the interesting, the extraordinary and the unusual, all to answer the question, what's at the end of every metro line in Shanghai? Now today we're jumping on Shanghai's lucky line 8 from the south to the north through Shanghai's centre and past a couple of Shanghai's more famous landmarks. So let's get on board.
Did you ever look at a map and wonder, where are these places? What's out there? Well, maybe it's just me, but I decided it's time to find out. I'm travelling to the end of every metro line in Shanghai in search of the interesting, the extraordinary and the unusual. So let's go to the end of the line. Today we're starting off at Shendu Highway in Shanghai's south before heading north underneath the Expo 2010 zone and through Shanghai's centre. We then turn east and cut through a swathe of suburbia before heading north all the way to the terminus at Shiguang Road.
So we've made it down here to the southern terminus at Shendu Highway. Got an interesting vista there behind me of a bridge and a power station, so I'm going to go down and have a quick look. Now the notable thing about Shendu Highway is it's not just the end of line 8, but it's also the end of the Pujiang line, a slight oddity which finishes above me. Now I've got a little mini episode on the Pujiang line, so if you haven't already, go and check that one out. So out here on this side we have a bus station over there. And this little shopping street, so not a whole lot to write home about. But on the other side of the metro there is the Pujiang Forest Park, which I think might be a little bit more exciting. So it turns out the Pujiang Country Park is more of a theme park and less of a forest park, which is a little bit of a shame. So I think I'm going to give this one a miss and head back towards the metro. We've made it here to the China Art Museum, this imposing red building you can see behind me. Now this building was built in 2010 for the Shanghai Expo as the China Pavilion, so of course no expense was spared. And it rather nicely blends traditional Chinese elements with a more modern style of architecture. After the Shanghai Expo finished and most of this area was redeveloped, this building was obviously then turned into the China Art Museum. And it's quickly become one of Shanghai's most iconic buildings. This long building I'm standing on the top of, which is now a shopping centre, was the Expo axis, and this was really the focal point for the entire Expo site, which of course is why the China Pavilion had a prime position. And during the Expo, of course, the surrounding area was filled with pavilions for individual countries, and that looked a little bit like this. there it is, the China Art Museum, which is quite an impressive building, and unfortunately the same can't be said for the rest of the expo area. Now on the other side behind me there's a new commercial area being built. Down that way there's also another commercial area, lots of office blocks. So we're here at Dashijie, and this building behind me is Dashijie, which means Great World. Now Dashijie was opened in 1917 as the finest, most popular amusement arcade in Shanghai, and for many, many years that's exactly what it was. Now of course, like many institutions in China, had a bit of a checkered history throughout the 60s and 70s of the Cultural Revolution. Before it was finally closed in the early 2000s and lay dormant for a number of years. But in 2017 it was finally renovated and reopened as an amusement arcade once more. Now I've long wondered what amusements are inside Dashijie, so I think it's high time I bought a ticket and went inside to find out. So Dashijie, highly recommended, lovely old building, nicely restored, and a good mix of the traditional entertainments. We've still got the performance going on outside and some more modern audio-visual style displays upstairs. So all in all, definitely worth checking out. I'm glad I stopped by. Well, the metro is just across the road and it's time to push onwards. One station on from Dashijie, we are back at the busy People Square station. Now I know we've been here twice before, but there's one more thing I want to quickly show you. And yes, we are in the middle of the Golden Week, 7-day holidays for the Chinese National Day, and this year being 2019 is the 70th anniversary of the founding of modern China, which is a big deal. And that one thing is here, this building tucked away at a corner of Shanghai's People's Park. Now this building was built in 1935 actually as the grandstand for the horse racing track, which was here where People's Park now is. Now over the years, of course, it's also had a long and varied history, the racecourse being shut down not long after the revolution in 1949. Now this building has over the years been a home to some of Shanghai's museums. Indeed, the China Art Museum that we saw down at the Expo site earlier on formerly was located here up until a few years ago when it moved to its current location. This building was then closed and underwent a renovation for a couple of years and is now reopened as the Shanghai History Museum. There's a group of railway tourists here. It's getting a bit late to actually see inside, so I'll have to come back someday. And of course it's located on Shanghai's busy West Nanjing Road shopping street. People Square is down there, which incidentally is also where the metro station is, so it's time to get moving again. So we have finally made it out here to Shiguang Road, the end of line 8, and having cut through a swathe of suburbia to get here, it is not entirely surprising that that's where we've ended up right in the middle of. So yeah, aside from this square I'm standing in, there really isn't much else here other than residential tower blocks, which is a bit unusual actually, because most metro stations will have some form of commercial premises or shops spring up around them fairly naturally. So that's pretty much it for line 8 here at its northern terminus. We've seen quite a bit of fairly unexciting suburbia today, although I must say that the trip to Dashijie in central Shanghai was a definite highlight, so that was a good find. So make sure you hit that like button, drop me a comment and let me know what you'd like to see. We'll have line 9 coming up very shortly, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But until then, bye for now.